So to simplify everything, it all comes down to getting the know, like, and trust factor. What does that even mean? So in order for someone to buy from you, they need to trust you more than they trust your competitor. If you list your business on Google, eventually it's going to show up in your TikTok video.
Yeah.
When you post something on TikTok, it allows you to, you post a video and it allows you to put the location.
Wow.
That location, it's actually your Google listing. First, if you're not comfortable seeing your face on camera, do behind the scenes of just showing your work. So then we have direct message, which is people are used to buy services and products in their DM.
For me, I think, because I know from my business, Instagram is the best platform right now, but of course you're going to explain more and you're going to give more advices and more tips here on where you should focus. I know there is a lot to think about, and especially marketing, and then how to open a business, how to grow your clientele, where you should focus: Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube. For me, I think, because I know from my business, Instagram is the best platform right now, but of course you're going to explain more and you're going to give more advices and more tips here on where you should focus more after the class.
Sure. So of course, the answer varies based on, so I'm going to generalize the whole strategy, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to what the person wants to do, right? Because if they want to do this full-time versus part-time, it's just a matter of volume of traffic, volume of people knowing about them. So to simplify everything, it all comes down to getting the know, like, and trust factor. What does that even mean? So in order for someone to buy from you, they need to trust you more than they trust your competitors. Other than, if that's not happening, then they're not going to give you money. Right. But in order for someone to trust you, they need to like you. Not necessarily like you as a person, because they haven't met you yet, but they have to like the presence and the things that they found about you online. Because 95%, I would say, maybe even more than 95% of the people will find you or your students in this case online. Right? And then in order for someone, so we mentioned somebody has to trust you in order to buy from you. They have to like you in order to trust you. But in order to like you, they first need to find you. So this is one of my favorite topics. It all comes down to traffic. Traffic meaning it can be foot traffic if you are in a really good spot and people will find you, but that's very rarely happening. Even if you are in a really good spot, it's not like people will randomly walk into your salon. Right. They're not going to randomly walk into your salon and say, well, guess what? I'm here to get my lashes done. It's just not happening. So the whole traffic portion, it's really split into two big worlds: search and interruption. Search, it's pretty much dominated by Google. Yes, we have a little bit of Bing and the other search engines. Google is number one, and it gives us as business owners, and in this case your students, really some awesome ways and opportunities to really market your business, both paying and on the organic side, meaning the SEO, and we have YouTube as a second search engine, right? Because YouTube, it's owned by Google, and it's also, a lot of people don't know about this, it's the second biggest search engine in the world. But YouTube, especially for this, because an eyelash salon, it's a local brick and mortar service. So people will not really find, they won't really go on YouTube to find a salon. They'll go to YouTube to find information about how can I maintain my lashes, or pros and cons of getting eyelash extensions and things like that. But other than that, people won't find a salon because they searched on YouTube the closest eyelash service next to me or something like that, right? So it's Google, in my opinion, the number one focus that your students should have. And where do we begin? And before we dive into that, so we mentioned traffic, it's split into two worlds. Search traffic and interruption marketing is pretty much everything that has to do with social. It starts in this case with Instagram, Facebook, and then we have Pinterest, and I'll dive a little bit into that. But I don't have a crazy amount of experience in Pinterest. But then you have TikTok and LinkedIn and all the others. But before we dive into the actual strategy itself, it's important to know you're not going to be able to master all of them.
Right.
I remember the first time I did a Google ad was 2017. And to this day, so I have 8 years of pretty much not a day would pass without me being logged in the actual ad platform and trying to optimize different things for keywords and locations and settings and testing different ads and all that. So you're not going to master one form really quick.
Right.
Not even to mention, you're not going to be able to master all of them. So with that being said, with that in mind, let's think about the simplest way that your students can focus, because what do they care about? Making money. What does
Building the clientele.
Yeah, so that comes down to getting more clients. So putting all the other details aside in terms of how long it's going to take them for them to get comfortable charging and how much they should charge and all that, we'll probably keep that for a different episode, because it can be a whole different thing of its own. But it's really important to understand the local market and to understand the competition.
Right.
So thinking back to these two worlds of traffic, search traffic and interruption marketing traffic, it's for people that are really beginners. What does that even mean? In my opinion, they're two types of people that search for a service and they search for pretty much everything that they are looking to get in terms of a service. And then there are people that just click on these ads from social media campaigns. And not to say that you cannot be both, right? Because we're both, for example, at some point in time, we've searched for some type, for example, I don't know, need a plumber, you go to Google, type in plumber near me, you find a phone number, the first three listings, you call the plumber because you need a service, your bathroom might be clogged or whatever, and then you need a plumber now.
So all of those are through Google, all those searches?
Yeah, so all the search traffic is dominated by Google. Okay. Bing has, I don't know, like 3%, 4%, whatever it is, but we're not talking about Bing now, even though pretty much the same strategies apply. But I'm going to talk about Googling here. So of course, Google it's split into a lot of different things. So first we have ads, but even the ads are split into a couple of different types of ads, but I don't want to complicate things. I want to keep it simple for students to
understand.
So Google has also two big worlds. Remember, at first I said we have search traffic and interruption, search dominated by Google, interruption, social media. So Google has two big worlds. One is the ad platform, where you pay to promote. And you have your service and your ads show at really the top of the list when somebody's searching for a service. In this case, eyelash extensions near me. What else could people search for? And I did this research recently for you. Eyelash salon near me, lash extensions near me, lash tech near me, eyelash extension services. Where it was one long tail phrase. Long tail means a longer key phrase that people are searching for. In your case was, where can I get the best deal on eyelash extensions? It was and it was searched, I think, 20 times a month in Massachusetts. And again, this comes down to understanding your market and doing a little research. So it's a tool that I recommend everybody to play with. It's called Keywords Everywhere. It's a Google Chrome extension. It's free. And then you pay, I don't know, $10 to buy some credits. And those credits allow you to do research on these keywords and phrases and how to understand how many times a month somebody's searching for. Because if you create a blog post, for example, and it talks about a keyword that you might think people are searching for, but nobody is searching for that keyword, nobody's going to find your business. Nobody's going to find your listing, right?
And I think it's very important, the keyword that you...
Right? And then, of course, the higher the volume of searches, the higher is the competition. Because more people will want to go for, if a keyword like eyelash extensions near me is searched a couple thousand times a month, versus where is the best place to get what is the best place to get a deal on eyelash extensions? It's only searched 20 times a month. Of course, the competition is going to be different. So again, to simplify things, on Google, so we have organic, and organic has your website and your Google My Business profile or Google My Business page, whatever we want to call it. So that's the first thing that your students should focus on. They should create a Google My Business profile. They only need a Gmail account. Now, you do need a full address and, of course, a phone number. So for people doing lashes out of their living room, because I know a lot of girls start that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to decide, like, am I going to put my address, full home address on the internet for people to find? And that's a risk. Shouldn't call it necessarily a risk, but that should be a decision for themselves to take, not for me to say, all right, do that or not. Because you can have just your city as the address, right? Or the street, and don't put the full house address, the house number. Just have your main street in Saugus. And then the zip code. And that's it.
List your location.
And somebody would call you to get the full address. The full address for the place.
And I think that makes a lot of sense.
And I mentioned
I wouldn't.
If again, some people might be where I live in a, let's say you live in an apartment complex, put the full address, because nobody, if they get there,
nobody
they're going to have to.
Which apartment.
Exactly. So if you get there and it's like 300 apartments,
right,
it's not really that risky.
If it's a house,
right.
Then
so that's number one. You need the address. Ideally, the older the Gmail address that you can find, the better, because it is a risk for Google to not approve
if it's new.
If the Gmail account is very new,
wow.
and you attach a Google My Business to it, it doesn't have any credibility yet. So that's that. But we can get into details in a different episode based on what questions we get from this one. So Google My Business is the first thing that they should do. It's free of charge, and you should put all the information in there, including, you don't have a website, that's fine. Put your Instagram URL, because Google is going to ask you for a website address, website URL. Then you have the full address, you have the phone number, then hours of operation. Very important. Make sure you list them in there. Doesn't matter if you work from 10 to 2 p.m. or you work 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. You want to leave it open 24 hours, whatever you want, but just make sure it's all listed in there. Then you have Google is going to ask you for some information about the business. So now we have tools like ChatGPT that can write the entire description for you. So remember I mentioned Google, it's a search engine. So make sure you use keywords like your city and then eyelash. So let's say you open a salon in Boston, or you're providing lash extension as a service in Boston. So use keywords like Boston eyelash extensions or eyelash extensions in Boston, eyelash salon, eyelash tech. So make a list of 5 keywords at least. Tell ChatGPT to write a Google description or to write a description and include these keywords in the description. Because why? Well, since it's a Google My Business listing,
people can find you.
Exactly. Google is going to keep that information in there. And if you don't use any keywords, of course, it's not going to know what people are searching for. Now, of course, it's a lot more that goes into that, because you're going to need some reviews. Make sure you post photos. So after your training, they're going to have 5 to 10, 20 final photos that they can use, probably more than 5, so maybe even more than 10. So use those 10 photos and post them all. Before you post it on Google My Business, change the title of the photo into those keywords and then upload them to the Google My Business listing, right?
I feel like there are little things that makes a huge difference. And
especially at the beginning.
And people can find you so easy only based on those keywords, right?
You shouldn't really say they can find you so easy, because it really depends on the competition. If you're the first place, you're the first eyelash service in your city, yes, of course, because nobody else is going to be in there.
Because the city.
And now Google actually just released a huge update. I just updated your profile. It allows you now to plug in all your social media accounts and their URLs. So when you choose your business name, use the word lash or eyelash or something like that in the business name itself. So now the next step is to have, once you optimize the Google listing, Google page, Google My Business listing, Google profile, whatever we want to call it. It's because they changed it so many times in the last 3 years that people are getting confused. Essentially, it's Google Maps. It's
on Google Maps.
Yeah, the easy way to understand where is this listing showing up. It's literally just on Google Maps.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you search on Google, like regularly, go to google.com and you search for eyelash extensions near me, it's called 3-pack. The top 3 listings are always going to pop up directly on Google. But the listing shows up the best on Google Maps. So now when you edit your listing on Google, now it's going to ask you to put your social media profiles. So I remember a couple times I mentioned, even on a few shows, a few episodes, I said focus on Google My Business, Facebook, and Instagram at first, because nothing else should take too much of your time. Because your expertise, it's not social media and marketing, your expertise is eyelashes. However, I have to take my words back now, because when you optimize that listing so well with all the other social media accounts, now Google grabs data from all around the internet and puts it into juice, SEO juice, into your listing. So yes, right now you should create a Pinterest account, you should create a TikTok account, you should create a YouTube channel, you should create a what's the other, Twitter account, and you should have links for all of them, just at least to have the listings and the accounts created.
Yeah.
And if this might come as a follow-up question, because a lot of your students might have done previously hair or nails or makeup or
different type of
skincare or whatever. You should have one. You should completely separate your accounts and have one just for lashes if you're planning to do this for a while, because again, it's gonna get optimized based on the keywords and phrases that you're using.
That was my second question. Should you focus only on one profile, one on each server, or you can throw everything in one? But like just mention now, because even guys, I'm in this business for more than 5 years, 6 years, and everything that Marianne explains, I'm off. I understand some few things, but he's the one who's doing all the marketing and everything. So sometimes for me, when we do those type of videos, podcasts, that makes sense. Oh, I know, you did that for me. So now, because you mentioned earlier all about the keywords, it makes a lot of sense to have one profile for each service because it's based on the keywords. Exactly. Eyelashes and hair.
If you have hair by, nails by.
Right.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense.
And it's the same thing on Instagram and TikTok. All these, and by the way, TikTok recently did an integration with Google. So a lot of people searching on Google, they might find TikTok videos, and a lot of people searching on TikTok, they're gonna start seeing some Google results. And it really all works together. If you list your business on Google, eventually it's gonna show up in your TikTok video. Yeah. When you post something on TikTok, it allows you to, you post a video, and it allows you to put the location. Wow. That location, it's actually your Google listing.
Wow.
If your Google listing is not optimized, it's not going to show up. Of course, it's going to, same thing on Instagram. You post a video and or a photo, and it asks you the location of that post. Now you can decide if you want to post it or not, but because it's a local business, you should always, like every post that you do, let's say you are in a city like Woburn, north of Boston, right? Every time when you post something, you should post, I'm talking about Facebook and Instagram now, and you should have the location of those cities and the cities around you, because you're local. Nobody's going to come from an hour away to get the lashes done with you. I know you have a few customers that come from 45 minutes, an hour. I know you mentioned somebody that came, but it's one.
It's one, right?
It's one, maybe two.
But you know, something just came in my mind. I see sometimes people that they are, let's say they are located in Medford, right? Or they are in Boston. And when you scroll down on Instagram, you see their location, different type of city. Is that because why? So for example, I'm in Medford, but when I post a picture, I see the location in Stoneham.
What do you mean? So you post let me make sure I understand the question. You post the photo or the video,
and you put a different location, not the one that you are in. Why?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can put any location.
That's because people are going to see you, or why?
So yes and no. Again, I don't want to complicate things too much. Most important thing that matters for this particular reason, one is you need to get known and seen locally in your
area.
Now, of course, if your city, it's like, let's say you had some students from New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, with cities that are not as populated as Boston, for example. So in that case, you want to use all the cities when you post all the time.
I think that happened, because sometimes I see Medford, but you see another post from Somerville Or another pictures from Boston or...
But that also has to do with who you follow.
Okay.
Because if you, I'm pretty sure the people that you're talking about, you follow all of them, all the posts that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you're seeing posts of the people that you follow. It's not like you're seeing all the, but at first, because we're talking about the students that are just getting started, they're not going to have any people follow them.
Right.
So nobody's going to see their post at first.
Right.
That's why ads are my all the time, because ads don't care how many followers you have. And at the end of the day, nobody like knows is gonna get a huge follow. Like you're not gonna see, unless they're fake, you're not gonna see a salon getting tens of thousands of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers. Because why? Like who that much about an actual salon?
Right.
They might follow the owner because, again, we as people, not again because I haven't mentioned this on this episode, but we as people, we connect the best with other people. You don't necessarily, you're not a die-hard Coca-Cola fan, or you're not die, even though it's one of the biggest brands in the world. You're not a die-hard McDonald's fan, or you're not, right? Like, but it's created between two people. Of, all right, like you're doing a great job in your stories every day. So a lot of people, like I remember always ask your students, so why did you end up buying the training for Zmina and not somebody else?
Yeah.
Well, if I found her on Google, then I talked to her over the phone, and then I saw her, and then I follow her on Instagram, and I saw her stories for like 4 months. Oh, so see, it's, again, that's brand building, and it's you see, it took so long for someone. Like, yes, we have people that book on the first call or on the second follow-up or whatever, but then you have people that follow. I remember a student said one time, and I was shocked. She followed you for like 2 years and became a student.
And she found me on YouTube.
Yeah, but again, I digress because I get so excited about this topic. But let's go back to
and make it simple.
Yeah, let's go back again. We were simple until we started going to
there
these.
There is a lot to explain, I know.
So first, you need to focus on Google My Business. So you need to start the listing.
That's say for free, right?
Yes, completely free. All these listings and all the social media accounts are for free. Say you don't have time today to spend 4 hours. I mean, you bet you 3-4 hours. But let's assume you don't even have 2 hours to do it. Let's say you don't even have an hour. Let's say you're just excited to get started. So assuming they have your name of the business already chosen. Next time for the first platform, which is Google My Business. So let's say you set that up and you don't have all the other accounts ready. That's fine. Just punch in as much information as you can, optimize as much as you can on it, upload a couple photos and move on. Right now, it might even take a while for Google to approve your listing. It might even get directly denied if Google realizes.
Also, you have to wait for Google to approve your listing.
It really depends how trustworthy is your Gmail account. If your Gmail account is old, meaning old,
yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah, or if you're just creating a Gmail account, it might take, and sometimes Google might even ask you for a legal document to prove that your business existed, that address.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little bit of a process, but I want to make sure I give people enough information so they can expect what's coming next. All right, so you do the Google My Business listing, you optimize it, and then you move on. What's next? Instagram and Facebook page. Now, Instagram, and by guys, make sure you choose, and literally this applies to every business that's getting started. Make sure you choose the same username for all the platforms, ideally. Why? Because, again, it's a keyword. If, let's say, the name of business is Lashes by Joanna, right? And then on Google, she's Lashes by Joanna, and then her Instagram is instagram.com @Lashes by Joanna. Twitter is Lashes by Joanna, right? All of these things, when somebody's searching on Google Lashes by Joanna, because let's say they saw an ad or whatever, and now they want to see who you are, what you do, Google is going to recognize is when somebody's searching Lashes by Joanna, it's going to populate all the listings. You don't want somebody else with the word lashes showing up when people are searching for your actual name, right? So make sure you choose the same username for all these platforms. So first, after Google, you do Instagram. So you optimize, you create your listing, your username. Ideally, in the photo of the profile, it's a photo of yourself. even if you, like in your case, for example, you have Limitlashes as the name of the business, and it's like the legal name, it's not Limitlashes by Cosmina, it's just Limitlashes, and that's it. However, in your case, we went a different route because you started doing trainings, and then we optimized your personal profile as your name because of the decision of building a personal brand in case you want to exit from the salon, and that's a whole different, more advanced strategy. But the username of Instagram should match all the other ones, as when you create a TikTok account, when you create a Pinterest account, a YouTube channel. Even if you don't have a plan to post a video for the next 3 months, you should have a TikTok account and you should have a YouTube channel. Why? Just because
to have all the links in them.
And then let's say you don't have a website yet. It's fine. Use what's going to be the all platform for you closing customers, Instagram. Why? Because it has the DMs and all the other features, and I'm going to dive into them shortly. So you're going to use the Instagram URL for all the platforms that ask you for a website URL. And it's very important for all of your students to understand why. So because every platform asks you for a website, including Google. So at first, if you start with the Google My Business, then of course you're going to leave the website URL blank. And then once you have your Instagram account, you're going to go back and do it. The reason that I mentioned you should start on Google first, it's because Google is just the only search platform that is going to allow you to optimize something for search at the beginning. Then you have all the other platforms are just for interruption marketing, which is the other world, right? Like how do we all think about ourselves as consumers? How do you consume anything, any content? Like on Instagram, you're like this, boom, 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 boom.
Scrolling down. And
Facebook, a lot of people say Facebook is for older people. But depends in this case, who's your clientele, who's your ideal customer. If that woman that's your ideal customer, it's over 30 years old, you need to use Facebook a lot more than you think, because it's not about you personally, it's about the customers. Where are the customers going to find you, right?
Right.
So you create a Facebook, you create an Instagram account, make sure it's a business account. And then next, so an Instagram is going to be your bio, right? So in the bio, if you don't know what to write in the bio, look at your competitors, right? And that's also one of the reasons that I said you should create the Google My Business listings first, because that's where you're going to spend your time doing research. You're going to go in an incognito window or in your phone without being logged in, and you're going to go to google.com and search for lashes near me when you are in your city or when you are in your living room, if you start doing lashes in your living room. Why? Because the moment you're seeing who are the top 5 listings that show up on your maps or in your Google listings, you're then able to look at each of them. So click inside the listing on Google and see what are the keywords, what are the descriptions that they use. And then you can go back to yours and see, are you using those? How often are they posting? A lot of people to this day, so Google started allowing posts, I can't remember, I think it's like 3 years ago. So you can add posts on Google the same way that you post on Instagram and Facebook.
And I treat my Google account exactly the way I do Facebook, Instagram. When I post on Instagram, I go on Google, I go on Facebook, I go on TikTok, in 5 minutes I post everywhere. But Google account, I post a lot of pictures and videos.
Because it allows you now, even videos. I can remember when the update came out. Like
it
the
wasn't like that before, right? To upload pictures.
No, so this started probably 3 years ago or even more than that. But then videos came up a year or 2 years later. Videos were not allowed. And I don't think you can post longer than a minute. I think it has to be 59 seconds. It's almost like shorts, right? Like YouTube shorts. Yeah. So let's say you have video testimonial, but not just video testimonials. Any video that you post, any reel that you would post on Instagram, just use an app to download the video without the Instagram icon. And then just post it on all of these. So once you're done with a little bit of research or starting optimizing your Instagram account, so you have the bio, then again, you look at your competitors. What are they saying in the bio? How many times are you using the word lashes or eyelashes in the bio? Because Instagram has SEO too, right? Not a lot of people go on Instagram to search for necessarily a service near me. But in this case, you guys are in the beauty industry. it is a big world, actually. It is a big chunk of people searching for at least products that you're using, right? So, and on top of that, even if somebody searches and finds you on Google, they'll go back to Instagram and see, do you have an Instagram account?
Right.
What are you posting? Right? Like, who are you interacting with your followers, customers, things like that? On Google, they cannot see if somebody, because you cannot leave a comment to a post on Google. You can only leave reviews as of right now.
Plus, you don't want to go on, even if you from Google, after the Google you go on Instagram, you want to see that person what is doing. Like if your last post was 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
Exactly.
I hate when I see something like this. When I see a beautiful post or picture or a beautiful set of, could be anything, any type of, not only lashes, and I see your last post, it was 6 months ago, 7 months ago, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, it all
That
comes
means
down to
you're not active there.
exactly. It all comes down to being active with the people that try to learn about you and what you do and what you have to offer. At the end of the day, it's really like these are free. It's quote unquote free to post and to use, but you have to treat them because they are business assets. They're business assets. You're not just posting for fun, entertainment videos, right? So why did I say the end all be all platform is Instagram? Because it has all the capabilities pretty much of a website. Why? Because you have the feed where you post the photos and in this case before and after, screenshots of reviews, videos of people. Maybe you pull your iPhone and you offer a $15 off or something like that for a video testimonial in exchange of that discount. Or maybe you have behind the scenes of how you work, how you clean your tools, your products, what products you use. Maybe you give some tips, top 3 things to consider, top 3 reasons to consider lashes, whatever. You know what to post? Go to ChatGPT and ask, what are the top 10 most searched topics when it comes to when it comes to eyelash extensions? Then so the feed, it's being used to build credibility and trust by you being the expert of explaining and you being the person that demonstrates that you are the authority in this niche, in the eyelash extension niche, right? Then you have the stories. The stories are really great for brand building and trust building, right? People see a little bit of your behind the scenes of what you do. Like I remember one of your students said something that drew my attention. She said, "Oh, I love the fact that Cosmina had a dog. I saw her dog all the time. I'm also a coffee drinker. I noticed she drinks coffee every morning." So as people, we relate to people that do different, that do similar things, and they like similar things that we like, right? If I'm into fitness and I see, I don't know, any kind of service, and then I look at his stories or her stories, and I see that that person, that's the business owner that I'm probably going to buy some service, they're into fitness too. All of a sudden, I create a connection, and it's another trigger that in my brain says yes, yes, a little more. Like she's not a customer yet, but I had a direct message on Instagram not too long ago of a coach, and she said to me, "Oh, I've been following you for a while. I didn't realize you do jiu-jitsu. I'm a brown belt. I've been a brown belt for so many years. I love the training. I'm not ready yet to accept more customers, but when I do, I'll reach out to you just because I know we have this connection. Now it's this connection that you create, right? So stories are great for that. Then you have the highlights. Highlights are great for testimonials and product showcase. Showcase your products in the highlights. Then you can pin the pinned tree post. You can pin top. So let's say I always recommend everybody to have at least 9 posts before they start their first campaign. So that comes down to the fact that when somebody gets on your Instagram page without scrolling, they can see your 9 posts, right? Then you have the reels, right? Maybe at first you're not good on camera. Unfortunately, I had to break it to you. It's 2023, or depending when you have to. When it comes to an end, it's 2024 almost. You have to get better on camera, right? First, if you're not comfortable seeing your face on camera, do behind the scenes of just showing your work. So then we have direct message, which is people are used to buy services and products in their DM. They're used to being pitched. It's not something foreign. I hate when, for example, I think I got a direct message on TikTok, and I haven't seen it for like 3 weeks because I don't check my DMs on TikTok because I wasn't used to have this feature on it. But IG, I'm used to getting pitched. I'm getting pitched every day. Now I'm not buying every day, but I'm getting pitched every day, and I don't mind because I'm expecting to be pitched. Then you have Instagram Live. I know you don't do it as much, but we've done it a few times. That's also good for Q&A. If people have questions, you can answer live on. It's almost like you give your time for free to people that have questions. Yeah. And then we have my favorite, which is the ads. So now you don't even have to have, like, you can have 0 followers. You post a 9 post, you have your account optimized, and now you want to reach more people. And the question is, like, what do you? So you post an offer, and that can be $50 off, 50% off, depends on, you have to beat your competition in this case. Because you're just starting out, you look at your competitors, you see what your competitors are doing, and you want to make your offer better than them. I remember when we did this the first time, one of the direct competitors was Lash Lounge. It was in Somerville. And I think they had a 50% or 30% off for their first classic set. And we did 50% off, 20% more. But you also need a little bit of a strategy on that. We won't go because that's a little more advanced of what we did because it wasn't at the beginning. But in this case, until your calendar is booked, you need to, and you're always running a promotion. Like, it doesn't matter what promotion, you're always running a promotion.
I'm running even now promotion.
Of course, because we as people, our brain works great with promotions. So then you will see on Instagram when you post a video or a photo, it's a little button that says boost. And a lot of people in the marketing world, they hate that word, that button, because it makes it so easy for Instagram to take your money. But in this case, it's actually a good idea to use it, especially because you don't need to get too fancy with who you target. The most important thing is the fact that you can target your city or even zip code specifically next to you. Or if you live in a small city, you might need to add more than one city in the targeting. So you can have 0 followers and you start this campaign. And again, you want to promote the post that talks about a promotion. So when you promote that, you target your ideal clientele or the people that you want to attract. In your case, we even made this avatar. I always like to say your ideal customer is Joanne, and she's 35 plus years old, and she lives in Winchester and she works in finance. And she has to make over 50, 60, over 50, 60K a year, because lashes are not cheap. Right. And they're not cheap to maintain because you need to come back and that's the beauty of the business because it's recurring. So you launch this campaign, and the first question that typically comes down to, how much do I spend? So if you can spend $1 and get $2 back, how much you want to spend?
2,000.
That's it? You only want to make 4,000? You want to spend unlimited money, right, if you can make it profitable. Right. So in the lashes world, the way that the numbers work, from what I've seen in your case, is typically people stick around for an average between 6 to 10 months. It really depends on a couple different factors. Won't go into it now. But let's say you charge $200 for the first set and $100 on a refill to make the numbers easy. So if people spend $200 to get in and then $200 a month to maintain, they stick around, let's say 10 months, to make the numbers easy. 200 times 10 is 2,000, plus another 200 to come in. So that's $2,200 per one customer that, as long as you're doing your job properly, they should come back for roughly anywhere between $1,500 and $2,200. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Again, there are a couple factors in between. But the reason that I mentioned this is when you spend money to acquire customers, you have to remember about that number, right? Yes, at first you might charge a little less because you want to penetrate the market a little bit. You don't want to be too low on the market share, because you're going to attract an audience that when you raise your prices, it's going to be hard for you to keep the customers because most of them won't afford it anymore. You don't raise your prices until you're completely booked. That's another episode. But so at first, you think about who you want to target. So they're clearly women, and the age bracket, again, it really depends where you're located, how big the city, how big of a population. Because Instagram will tell you, if you are, let's say, in Boston and you select woman and you select 30 or 25 years old and above, the audience is going to keep shrinking when you put these filters, because these are filters, right? It's going to say, all right, you're in Boston, boom, 800,000 people available to target. You select woman, boom, 200,000. You select, I'm just making numbers up. It might be much higher, but, and then you select, well, only 25 and above. Boom, it dropped. 25 and above, woman that, and then at first, you can even stop there. That's enough filters for you to start your first campaign. And then a call to action should be always, both in the bio and in that post, DM me for more details about this offer. And that's it. You don't want to make it too complicated, because at first, again, you don't need a website. You can get it started really on the same day of their training. If they create their Google My Business listing, Instagram account, and then a Facebook page, they can literally start this the next day or the same day.
Now, my question is, to make it more understandable, do they have to have those 9 posts already when they boost?
Exactly.
And also, can you boost multiple pictures or only one post?
No, you can boost as many as you want. Instagram is going to take you, as long as your credit card goes through, it's fine. But you don't want to, like, you don't want to have all 9 posts about a promotion. That just looks spammy. So you should have 1 post out of the 9 talking about a promotion, and that one should be promoted, because you should not spend money on promoting a post that it's not geared towards getting customers. You don't want to focus at first about getting followers. Oh, and by the way, when you launch this, when you boost the first post, Instagram is going to ask you, what do you want the post to bring you? More profile visits, more direct messages, or more
followers?
More engagement to the post. And it's always, in this type of post, it's always about getting more messages, because that's where you're going to close DMs. That's where you're going to close the deals, in the DMs. And when you do this, you should also have your Facebook page created, and you just integrate it with your business,
so
with your Instagram
account. Everything you do in Instagram is gonna go directly.
It's gonna post directly on Facebook. That way, you don't have to spend more time to post there too.
But also, I remember when we started the first ad, it was like a very clear and beautiful pictures, the before and after, right?
That was the one that worked the best.
That works the best
in your case. So it was a before and after photo. And I think, I can't remember exactly what, I think it was the 50% off offer. But again, the post did well. So at the end of the day, you don't really know if it was image. We didn't split test too much that one, because it just worked. Or the post itself. Offer.
The offer, right?
We might have just put the offer on a black cover, and it might have worked. But again, it's a visual industry, so you have to show some type of photo. And of course, before and after work the best, because
you can see the difference.
People want to see why they should even get lashes in the first place. So I think that's important. And I think for the purpose of this question, these things should be enough for them to get started and start getting some traction. How much they should spend a day on ads? I always want to test $10 per ad per day. So at first, multiply that by 30 days, $300 roughly a month you should spend to get. At the end of the day, this is what you do. You're collecting data. Out of the 300, you might get a customer or more, or you might get nothing. But that doesn't mean that you should stop. Right. Because what happens is, I would see it hard to boost a promotion like this locally, and in a month to get 0. It's really hard. Now, you might get, let's say, on average, let's say if it's a $5 per message, and I consider that an actual lead from a marketing standpoint, you might get, so 30 divided by 300 divided by $5, let's say. So even if, let's say you get 60 messages and you're not able, and you don't close any of them, the campaign did what it promised to do. But it did very well. If you spend $300 and you get 60 messages, that's really good. It's probably not going to be as cheap. But you get 60 messages and you don't close anything, it's not, because I hear a lot of times this, Instagram ads didn't work because I tried it, didn't work. Well, let's define didn't work. Because if you got a number of messages and you didn't close any, let's look, what did you talk? Let's look at your messages. That most likely is the problem. It's not the fact that the campaign didn't work. Campaign worked. You optimize it to get, you optimize it for getting messages. You got messages. You didn't sell. So that's what the problem is. It's not the fact that the campaign doesn't work. So just to recap this, because I know we went a little bit in a couple different directions. They should focus on these three different platforms at first: Google My Business, Instagram, and Facebook. And Facebook page, right? Like create the Facebook page from your Facebook profile account. However, one thing that I want to address is the one platform that you've probably had it the longest. It's Facebook, because it's one of the oldest social media platforms in around. And you probably had a couple hundred friends on Facebook, childhood friends, friends of friends, whatever. Use that real estate because it's free.
Right.
So that account should become your business account. So you can always model everything that you have on your Facebook business page. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to change your name into the business name on your Facebook personal profile, but at least optimize the profile photo, optimize the header photo, optimize what it says in your bio. Same things that you say on your Instagram, you should say on your Facebook profile. And you can be as simple as you just reshare the things that you post on your Facebook business page, and that's enough for you to get some more traction, free traffic from your Facebook friends. Because I can guarantee it's impossible to not have high school friends, childhood friends, friends of your parents that will see that, oh, she does lashes. So, and all the other platforms, you can create them at least to have the URLs, like the TikTok, your Pinterest. And Pinterest is one of the, especially for beauty, it's a really powerful platform. We're testing now some ads with you. I don't have an update yet to give some numbers, but we'll talk about that in a different episode. But Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Pinterest and Twitter, you should at least create them the same username as your Instagram account, and that's it. That can be just for you to paste those URLs into your Google My Business listing, and literally you can leave it at that. Because you don't want to get overwhelmed, because you're gonna have to text people.
I don't want to focus on all of them.
It's gonna be hard for you to focus on all of them. You can only focus on one, and I would say you're gonna have to focus on two in this case, on Google to get reviews as soon as possible, and then on Instagram to make sure that you nurture the people that come from these ads. Now, you might say, well, I don't have $10 a day to pay. I guarantee you have at least 5. You drink the Starbucks coffee and use it to promote your business, because that's going to make you more money eventually.
And consistency.
Posts, of course, after that, and you can repeat the post after a week or so. You can post the same. Like, nobody's going to actually look at your feed because you're a salon. It's not, or a lash tech. Your account is not there to just generate attention for the sake of generating attention. It's not like, oh, now I want to build a brand. We'll talk about that in a different episode. But for this purpose, with these platforms, focus on Google My Business to get reviews and the posting of it every day, and Instagram as well. Ideally, you also want to do at least one post a day. Don't know what to post? Look at your competitors. See what they post. You might say, well, I don't have customers at first. Doesn't matter. People that come and see your ads and maybe they find you on Google or whatever, they don't know you don't have customers every day. So act like you do.
It's pictures from the training, post pictures during the practice, mannequin, or
use a tool like canva.com. It's completely free, and flip the image. One week you post it on the left, and then one week you flip it on the right and you post the other side of it. And that's as simple as that. You don't want to complicate things. Again, there are so many other moving parts to this in terms of the business of its own, but for this purpose, these tips should be enough for them to get started and start getting their first customers. What do you think? Was that answer deep enough?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, so guys, I know we went into this beauty niche, but however, these tips apply to any business whatsoever, especially if it's a local brick and mortar, local service. And even if it's not, even if you are more of a coach consultant type of service provider, you can still apply these things if you're just getting started and then you don't have any customers. Like these things that we talked about pretty much work in any industry,
Any industry.
whatsoever. So thank you for being a great interviewer. I talked
Thank you,
more.
babe, for having me.
I talked more than you did, which makes sense because you asked the questions that
Yeah.
your students
And you
wanted.
you can answer all of them because I had a few questions on the way, but you started to answer.
So we'll try to do more of these depending on the feedback that we're getting, both from your students and also from the audience. And if you guys have any questions, of course, you can just DM me on Instagram. It's just my name, Marian Viesanu, MARINVIESANU. And of course, you'll see the link in the description of this episode. But until the next one, take care, and I'll catch you guys soon.